Hi guys, today's topic is Kotlin. So this is today's outline for the presentation. First, I'll start with the introduction about Kotlin. As you can see, Kotlin is developed by JetBrains. One of the main objective of developing this Kotlin is to have functionalities which doesn't have in Java and have a better compilation time than Java, and to make it as open source. So they name it after an island near Indonesia named Kotlin. So when working with Kotlin, like we can use IDEs like IntelliJ, Android Studio, Eclipse, those kind of things. In 2016, they developed they released their first version. After releasing it in 2017, Google announced their first class support for Android development for Kotlin. Also in 2017, they released version 1.2 also. In 2018, they released version 1.3. In there, they added asynchronous programming features to Kotlin. In 2019, Google announced Kotlin as preferred language for Android development. It doesn't mean they are not going to use Java for Android development, but they are going to use Kotlin and Java parallelly for Android development. And one of the main advantages in Kotlin is interoperable with Java, which means in a Kotlin project we can have both Java and Kotlin codes. As you can see, Kotlin is cross-platform and statically typed general purpose programming language. I'll describe about it while doing demo and in the rest of the presentation. So these are the popular users of Kotlin. As I have described earlier, Google use Kotlin for Android development, and as you can see in Slack, in our project also we use Slack for communication purposes. Slack's Android app is developed by Kotlin. They use Kotlin to use develop Android app. In Netflix, no need to describe what is Netflix is. Netflix Android app is developed using Kotlin. Tinder is a dating app popular. They also use Kotlin to develop their Android app. Pinterest is a unique popular image sharing service. In their Android app also they use Kotlin. As I mentioned before, Kotlin is general purposes. Kotlin is not only for like mobile Android development. We can use it for mobile development, also for server-side development. When it comes to server-side development, we can use like existing framework like Spring Boot, Vertex, X, JSF, and there's a framework for Ketor specifically for Kotlin. When it comes to web development, we can use Kotlin that for also. When I'm doing a demo, I can show you how it's doing. When it comes to desktop development, we can use a framework like Java, SFX, Swing, and also there's a Tornado FX called framework. It is specifically can be used for Kotlin. Java, SFX, and Swing, those kind of things are using Java by Java also. Okay. When it comes to Kotlin versus Java, Kotlin is very concise. What is mean by, like, when comparing the code size of the Kotlin is very low. I can show you using this one. Give me a sec. Okay, I'll show it while doing the demo. So Kotlin is Java, Kotlin is very null safety. What this mean by, like, in Kotlin we don't have null exceptions. This will also I'll describe when I'm doing the demo. In when developing the Kotlin, one of their major objective was to have a lesser compilation time than Java. But when what the programmers are saying is compilation time of the Kotlin is very higher compared to the Java. Also, since Java is a very like old programming language, they have higher community support, but Kotlin has a lesser community support. So let's start the demo. First, I'll create a new project. So you have to select in Kotlin in here. As I mentioned before, if you want to develop like a web application or something like that, you can select this one. Since I'm going to do some basic kind of things, I'll choose this one. Okay, in here. Okay. This is the project structure. Since we are going to do simple things, it's a simple project. In here, we have libraries related to IntelliJ. In here, in this source folder, we are going to write our code. This IML file, we have the information about the modules we'll use in here. Also, in JRE and all those kind of things we have in this external file thing. We create, so I'll create a hello world first. So I create a Kotlin file. It's still compiling. You can see that. You can see the hello world here. So next, I'm going to discuss about these kind of things. When it comes to data type in Kotlin, we have these type of data types in Kotlin: numbers, Boolean, characters, array, and those kind of things. So when it comes to the variables, we can define variable in two ways. Like if we want a mutable variable, we can define it like name. But on something like constant, we have defined is like using this keyword. Well, okay. So if I'm going to change it again, it's going to give a error, compile time error. Also, as I mentioned before, Kotlin is statically typed. If we want, there's no need to specify the variable type here. But if we really want it, we can specify it here also. Okay. Next, I'll show you how arrays work. Okay. Sorry. In array, this is how like we can create array in Kotlin. we can use these two keywords to create the array in Kotlin. Okay. Then I'm going to talk about the control flow. This is loop for those kind of things are very similar to Java, but I'll describe about this venting in Kotlin. This venting is very similar to switch cases in Java. So how it's going is say we have a variable called int. Two, but if it's the 3, so this is very similar to switch cases, but the syntax are very some kind of different. So in this program, it will print 3, this string and this number. Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about is functions in Kotlin. I'll describe about this using a demo. When creating a function in Kotlin, we have to, as I mentioned, described here, we have to use this func keyword. So, like, if we are like, but the when this example for this one. So in here, we can pass the parameters, and but in here we have to specify the return type. Okay. But also another thing when creating a function in Kotlin is when passing parameters, we can pass like specify number of we can pass parameters as an array, but every value should be in the same type. So as you can see, I have passed 6 numbers here. If I want, I can pass another few numbers also. So we have to use this keyword if you are doing that in Kotlin. Okay. Next, I'm going to discuss about this classes in Kotlin. When it comes to the classes in Kotlin, the root class of the class hierarchy of Kotlin is any class. So every class is extended by this any class. So when it comes to the demo, this is how we create a class in Kotlin. As you can see in here, like just similar to like creating a method, we can define the constructor here. But if we want to like overload the constructor, we can define another constructor here, like this, and we can like this. Also, if we want, there's no need to add that constructor keyword. Without doing that also, we can do this. Okay. So next I'll going to discuss about inheritance in Kotlin. Okay, let's say I have something like this. this let's say this is the parent class, and this can be the child class. So in here we have what class we are from. So in here this child class extending from this parent class. In here we have to pass value for this this constructor also. So the next thing I want to describe, talk about the Kotlin classes is the data classes in Kotlin. One of the main features in Kotlin is this data class thing. Why? So we use in Kotlin, they use data class just to store data. So the main purpose of that is storing data. So when creating a data class, we have to use this data keyword and this class. This use yeah, let's say then in like main method I can create two object of these two methods, like user1 equal I pass as the name and yes age to I'll use the same value for this one. I just want to show you guys something. 25. So if we do this in Java, these values in this user1 and user2 will be different because they are referring to two different objects. But in what happened in Kotlin is, let's say if user1 user2, I say it's compiling. You can see it's printing equal. The reason for this is they are not like comparing the reference variable references here. They are in here what they are comparing is the data inside the class. So let's say if I print this, I'll print this one of this object. Let's say I'm printing user one. You can see it's printing this data inside the class. No need to like call toString method or anything when it comes to data class. So main objective of this data class is to store data. So
so this is similar to the structures in C#. Yeah. Structures. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then next I'm going to describe as exception handling in Kotlin. Okay. In Kotlin, they don't have a checked exception. When I'm trying to understand why they don't have checked exception is the one of the main reason they have in their documentation is like when it comes to small project, when it comes to small project, it increase the code quality and it increase the developer productivity, those check execution things. But when project gets bigger, they say that that these check exception doesn't increase the code quality or productivity of the project. So that's what they say in their documentation in Kotlin also. So I can show you guys. The Kotlin doesn't have the checked exception. So
Malith, what do you call by checked exception? Is it like that requiring to catch all the exception and the function having to declare the exceptions that it throws, like in Java?
yeah, in Java, let's say we are going to write a file. In compile time, it's throw a error saying that you have to add the try catch.
Yes, yes, okay, yeah,
But in
Java
Kotlin,
requires you that, yeah.
yeah. But in Kotlin, they don't have that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. So in here, let me show you guys. Let's say 5.
So I mean, in a way, it's more like C#, right? You can just call the function even if it throws exception, and it's up to you to handle try catch if you want.
Yeah. Like that. So if this Java, it will show a compile time error. Since in Kotlin they don't have checked exception, they are not going to throw that kind of error. So
Now, when defining the function, if you are writing a function yourself,
yeah.
and that function happens to throw some exception, do you have to declare in the function that this is throwing this exception?
You mean custom made function, and we are throwing that function when we are calling that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't checked about it. I'm not sure about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Other think about exception link. So in similar to Java, in here also they use this try catch thing. Similar to Java, the finally block will be executed even there is an exception or no exception. In catch block, we will handle the exception. In throw keyword is used to throw exception, and all the one thing is, and all the exceptions are descended from the class throwable, like in Kotlin. Okay. The next thing I'm going to talk about is null safety. Like in Kotlin, we don't have null exception in Kotlin. I'll show you how the reason for that is, like they say in Java, in other programming languages also, we can access a null reference object that it will it will cause to like throw null point exception in Java. Another programming language, it will throw another error. So because of this, so many problems have happened in software projects. So in programmers call this as the $1 billion mistake. So because of that, Kotlin doesn't have this null pointer exception. So let's see how they have achieved it. Let's see. Define a variable name and its type is string. Okay. And assigning it like let's say that now I'm going to assign null to it. You can see that it will show a compile type error. So if we want to assign a null value to this, we can do something like this. We can add this to here. So it doesn't throw a compile time here and now. So let's say like I want to get the length of this string. As you can see, again it will throw error. So compile time error. There are a few ways to handle these things. First thing we can do is like we can use something like this operator. So if this is not name is not null, it will return length. If it's null, it will return 1. Since it's they don't allow null value to use, this cannot be also null. So that's why we have to have a default value here. And another thing we can do is like let's say we want length to the simple thing we can do is we can have a if else here. What length is what? So you can use these kind of things. But if you really want to have null point exception in Kotlin, you can use this one also. I'll show you first like this not throwing null point exception. Oh, obviously it doesn't going to show. See, now let's say like if you really want null point exception in Kotlin, we can use like something like this. So you can see that. Now you can see that it's throwing a null point exception. Okay. I want to show you how to use Kotlin and Java in the same project. Okay. Before that, I told you let's do those things together. Let's create a Java class. I'll add values to here. Okay. In main, can see I'm calling this person. It's drawing. Is it drawing error? Yeah. I think I have to pass the name. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, this is a Java class and this is a Java file. You can see .java syntax here. In here in this Kotlin file, I am using this Java classes and creating object, and also in here I'm using this getters and setters also getters. So in here I'm using this getter. So we can use Java and Kotlin in same project. In when doing the presentation, I told you guys that Kotlin is very concise. So I can show you. I can convert this Java code to Kotlin. using this one. You can see this is the same Kotlin code for that Java code. You can see we can write it using just one line. So when it comes to concise, Kotlin is very concise compared to Java. Okay. Other things I want to discuss also about advantages of Kotlin. Kotlin is open source programming language. Also, it's very, as I discussed before, it's interoperable with Java. Also, we can use already existing Java libraries and frameworks. Also, like we can use library IDEs used for Java, like IntelliJ, Android Studio, and Eclipse, and those kind of things. When it comes to learning curve, if we are familiar with Java, it's kind of very easy to learn Kotlin. Also, switching from Java to Kotlin is very easy. Also, this Kotlin is very similar to like Apple Swift programming language also. As I showed you before, it's very concise, very less amount of code compared to Java. Since there's no null point exception, it's very safe. So that's the advantages of Kotlin compared to Java and other programming languages. So that's all about this Kotlin, guys. Any questions?